High on the wind-scoured slopes of Mount Everest, where the air thins into dizziness and the world falls away below, a pair of green boots juts out from the shelter of a rocky alcove. For decades, climbers have passed this silent figure, huddled in a fetal position, the bright green of his mountaineering boots in stark contrast to the gray stones and white snow. To some, he is simply a waymarker, a grim milestone on the most unforgiving stretch of trail. But to others, he is a haunting reminder of the cost of ambition, the toll that Everest exacts from those who dare to ascend her icy heights. Here, at about 8,500 meters above sea level, near a cave now known colloquially as Green Boots Cave, the terrain is desolate, battered by winds that can strip the warmth from a body in minutes. This is the notorious death zone, where the pressure of the atmosphere is so low that every breath brings only a third of the oxygen one would find at sea level, and the human body begins to fail, cell by cell. Survival here is a matter of hours, not days. Every step forward is a struggle, every decision weighed against exhaustion and the creeping fog of hypoxia. It is here, under a shallow overhang of limestone, that Green Boots rests. No one knows for certain when he died, but the body has lain there since the late 1990s, perfectly preserved in the thin air and cold, a silent witness to the steady stream of climbers who pass by each spring. Over time, his identity became a subject of speculation, rumor, and debate, wrapped in the mystery that so often accompanies tragedy on Everest's slopes. For many years, Green Boots was believed to be Tsewang Paljor, a member of an Indian climbing team attempting to summit Everest in May of 1996, a year that would become infamous for the disaster that claimed the lives of 8 climbers in a single storm. Paljor, along with 2 teammates, was caught in a blizzard high on the north face. Their last radio transmissions were desperate, voices fading into static as the storm closed in. When the weather cleared, only the green boots and the crumpled form beneath the overhang remained. Others have claimed that Green Boots might be Dorje Morup, another member of the ill-fated Indian expedition. The confusion is emblematic of Everest itself, facts lost in the chaos of altitude, memory, and myth. What is certain is that whoever Green Boots was, he did not die alone. His passing became part of the mountain's long history of triumph and tragedy, folded into the collective consciousness of the climbing world. For those who ascend Everest on the North Col route from Tibet, Green Boots is a landmark, his cave situated just before the final stretch to the summit. Climbers pause to catch their breath, to reevaluate their strength, and, inevitably, to confront the mortality that shadows every step in the death zone. Some avert their eyes, unwilling to acknowledge the body. Others whisper a prayer or pause in silent tribute. A few take photographs, morbid souvenirs perhaps, or attempts to grapple with the enormity of what they are doing. The presence of Green Boots is a powerful reminder that Everest is not a place for the faint of heart. The mountain is indifferent to ambition, unmoved by human suffering. For every climber who reaches the summit and returns, there are many who do not. Their stories are etched into the ice and stone, their bodies left where they fell, preserved by the cold and the thin air. Most are never recovered. The cost and risk of retrieval in the death zone is too great. The phenomenon of bodies becoming landmarks on Everest is not unique to Green Boots. Over 200 climbers have died on the mountain since expeditions began in earnest in the early 20th century. Some are buried beneath avalanches and snowdrifts, their final resting places only discovered when the ice recedes. Others, like Green Boots, remain in full view, their gear and clothing gradually fading but their forms undisturbed. Why do these bodies remain? The answer lies in the brutal logistics of high-altitude mountaineering. Above 8,000 meters, every ounce of energy is precious. The effort required to carry a living, breathing person is almost beyond comprehension. To transport a body, which quickly becomes dead weight, is an even greater task. Rescue attempts are perilous for all involved, and many teams must make the agonizing decision to leave their fallen behind. The mountain, in this sense, becomes both tomb and memorial, a place where the boundary between life and death is measured in meters and minutes. Green Boots Cave, in particular, has become a focal point for the debate about the ethics of high-altitude climbing. Some argue that the presence of bodies is a necessary, if tragic, reality, an unavoidable consequence of pursuing the world's highest peaks. Others see it as a sign of something darker, a culture that prizes achievement over humanity, where the summit becomes more important than the well-being of fellow climbers. There have been attempts to cover or move Green Boots, to allow the dead some measure of dignity, but the body remains. In recent years, with increased attention to the ethics of Everest expeditions, some teams have made greater efforts to retrieve or bury their fallen comrades. Yet the mountain resists easy solutions. She is vast, remote, and unforgiving. Here, the dead remain as they fell, watched over by the wind and the stars. For many, the story of Green Boots is not just about loss, but about the enduring power of memory. Every climber who passes the cave adds another layer to the legend, another thread to the tapestry of Everest's history. Some see Green Boots as a guardian, marking the transition from the relative safety of the lower slopes to the perilous heights above. Others see him as a warning, a vivid illustration of the risks that come with chasing dreams at the edge of the world. Yet there is more to the story than tragedy. For those who knew Tsewang Paljor, or Dorje Morup, or any of the other climbers who have perished on Everest, the mountain is a place of beauty as well as danger. It is a place where human limits are tested, where the spirit is laid bare against the elements. The drive to climb, to reach the summit, is as old as humanity itself, the urge to see what lies beyond the next horizon, to stand where few have stood before. The price, however, is steep. The physical toll of the climb is immense. Frostbite gnaws at fingers and toes, lungs burn with each breath, and the mind begins to wander as oxygen levels drop. Decision-making becomes impaired, and even the simplest tasks require monumental effort. In this environment, a minor mistake can be fatal. A missed step, a broken crampon, a sudden change in the weather. The psychological toll is just as great. Climbers talk of the summit fever that can grip a team in the final hours before their goal is within reach. Rational thought gives way to obsession, and the drive to reach the top becomes all-consuming. Some push on when they should turn back, risking everything for a few moments on the highest point on Earth. For a few, like Green Boots, the cost is ultimate. Yet even in death, there is a kind of immortality. The stories of those lost on Everest become part of the mountain's legacy, told and retold by each new generation of climbers. Green Boots, in his lonely alcove, is both a cautionary tale and a symbol of the indomitable human spirit. He is a reminder that even in the face of overwhelming odds, we strive, we endure, we remember. As the years pass, the number of climbers on Everest has only increased. The mountain, once the exclusive domain of the world's best alpinists, is now accessible to anyone with the resources and determination to make the attempt. Commercial expeditions shepherd clients to the summit, and the route past Green Boots Cave has become well-trodden. The queue of climbers, each waiting for their chance to stand on the roof of the world, sometimes stretches for hundreds of meters. With this influx has come new challenges: crowding, waste, and the ever-present danger of altitude sickness and exposure. The mountain is changing, but the risks remain. Each season, news filters down of more deaths, more bodies left where they fell. The mountain's grim toll grows, even as technology and experience improve. There are those who argue that the presence of bodies like Green Boots is a necessary part of Everest's story, a reminder that the mountain cannot be tamed, that nature still holds the final say. Others call for greater responsibility, for better management of expeditions, and more humane treatment of the dead. In recent years, some teams have made it a point to clear trash and recover bodies when possible, but the scale of the challenge is immense. For the families of those lost, the mountain is both a place of mourning and of remembrance. Some find comfort in the knowledge that their loved ones died doing what they loved, in a place of unparalleled beauty. Others are haunted by the thought of a body left exposed to the elements, visited by strangers but never brought home. The debate continues, unresolved, as the mountain endures. For climbers, passing Green Boots is a moment of reflection. The cave is a waypoint, a place to pause and gather strength before the final push. But it is also a checkpoint of the soul, a reminder to weigh risks, to respect the mountain, and to remember those who came before. Some leave offerings, a prayer flag, a token, a whispered promise to return safely. Others simply walk on, eyes fixed on the summit, determined to add their own story to the mountain's annals. Yet for all the debate and discussion, Green Boots remains, a silent sentinel on the roof of the world. He is a symbol of the cost of ambition, but also of the enduring allure of Everest. His presence is a reminder that the mountain is not merely a destination, but a journey, a place where every step is hard-won and every victory tempered by loss. In the end, the story of Green Boots is the story of Everest itself. It is a tale of dreams and danger, of triumph and tragedy, of the relentless pursuit of something greater than ourselves. It is a story written in ice and stone, in the footprints of those who climb and the memories of those who remain. And as long as climbers ascend the world's highest peak, the legend of Green Boots will live on, a testament to the enduring power of the mountain and the fragile, indomitable spirit of those who dare to challenge her heights.